In this video, we're going to show you how easy it is to onboard your Flow exporting devices into Scrutinizer. There are two parts to every exporter setup. Part 1 is device configuration to export Flow data. The second is Scrutinizer, acting as a passive flow collector to receive, store, analyze, and report on your network telemetry. For the device side of configuration, setup varies from one vendor and platform to the next, and we always recommend consulting the latest vendor documentation for specific Flow configuration steps for your hardware. In general, Flow configuration involves a few basic building blocks. 1. Defining a record for what to collect. 2. Defining an exporter for where to send those records. In this case, Scrutinizer's collector, IP, and a UDP port. And 3. The specific interfaces you want visibility on. A few good rules of thumb are: 1. In general, enabling ingress flows across every single interface on a device, which is standard for NetFlow. However, your vendor-specific documentation might have more details for your hardware-specific setup. Active timeout for Flow records should always be set to 60 seconds. This way, exported Flow aligns with our 1-minute reporting intervals, and flows and bandwidth show up correctly in the tool. 3. If a firewall or ACL sits between the device and the collector, confirm that it permits UDP on whichever port you're sending on. If you ever need help configuring your Flow exporting devices, you can always reach out to Plixer support, and we'll be more than happy to walk you through the proper Flow configuration steps. Once your exporter is configured, we can move to the Scrutinizer side of things. One of the benefits of using Plixer Scrutinizer is that there are no manual add exporter steps required for using the tool. Once Flow arrives on the predefined UDP port, Scrutinizer auto-detects this and begins collecting network telemetry from your devices. New exporters will appear under Admin, Resources, Exporters, typically within a minute or two of the first packet arriving at the system. Once we're receiving flows, device interfaces will initially show as instance numbers or raw index numbers. You can run all of your reporting and analytics using this information. But if you prefer more detailed information about your exporters and interfaces, we can move on to the next step, which is configuring SNMP credentials for device polling. Flow tells us how much traffic was generated and between whom. However, to resolve real interface names, link speeds, and overall device details, Scrutinizer pulls each exporter via SNMP. Without credentials, these interfaces stay as index numbers and utilization becomes unavailable. We will need to add credentials for SNMP under Admin, Definitions, SNMP Credentials. Clicking the plus button at the top right will open a panel to create a new SNMP credential set. You'll have two options. SNMP v2 uses a read-only communication string. Simple, but the community is sent in clear text. v3 has a username, an auth protocol, like SHA, and a privacy protocol, like AES, an auth crit, so both the authentication and the payload are encrypted. One thing to remember is that Cisco requires a Cisco-specific encryption setting, which you can see here with the C on the end. Once saved, Scrutinizer tries each profile top-down until one succeeds. Then, it will remember that match for the device added to that credential. So, mixed environments can run several stage profiles as long as a profile matches what's configured on each device. Now, we can confirm it. SNMP discovery takes a few moments to populate, so give it a moment after saving. To verify everything that works, you can go to Explore, Interfaces, and this is what good looks like. Interface names are resolved instead of index numbers, with link speeds being populated and flow visible inside of our reports. This is a fully onboarded exporter. If a device continues showing only instance numbers, you can return to the Admin, Resources, Exporters page, click on a specific device, go to SNMP settings, and rerun SNMP Discovery to kick off a fresh pull. And that's the whole flow. Configure export on your device, point it at our collector, and Scrutinizer handles the rest, auto-detecting the exporter. And once SNMP credentials are in, resolving every interface cleanly. We hope this quick video was helpful. If you want more detail on SNMP flow configuration or any other feature discussed today, you can visit docs.plixer.com.